Hey everyone, welcome to English Pod, where we make learning English fun with friends. In this series, I'll break down keywords, slang, idioms, and cultural references from each episode to help you improve your English naturally. Watch before or after the episode to boost your understanding. Subscribe and turn on the notifications. Let's dive in.
All right, so welcome to another deep dive. We asked you for some interesting sources, and you definitely delivered. Today, we're going to be looking at vocabulary, common phrases, and cultural references, but with a very specific twist.
Yeah, we're going full-on pop culture today. We're diving into the world of Friends, specifically Season 1, Episode 2, the one with the sonogram at the end.
Now, we're not just going to define terms here. Our goal with this deep dive is to really explore the context and cultural background of all these different words and phrases and references. We want to figure out what makes this, seemingly lighthearted sitcom so popular and resonant even all these years later.
Right, it's more than just understanding what was said. It's about why it was said that way. Like what those words and phrases tell us about the characters and the time period of the show.
Okay, so let's jump right in, huh? First up, vocabulary. And our source very helpfully gives us a list of words from the episode with definitions and the scene they appear in. It even tells us who says them, what they mean in that specific context. We've even got example sentences, so really thorough stuff.
Yeah, very organized. So let's start with sonogram.
Okay, sonogram. Pretty straightforward, right? It's an ultrasound image of a baby, like the kind you see at the doctor's office.
Exactly. And in the episode, we see Ross going with Carol and Susan to look at, well, the sonogram of his future child. And it's kind of a powerful moment for him, that first visual connection with the baby.
Right, totally. And the example sentence from the source is, "That's your baby's sonogram." Simple, but you can just feel the weight of that statement in the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, up next, we've got ammunition. But we're not talking about weapons here.
Right. Not in this context. So in the scene, Monica and Ross are talking about their parents and how critical they can be. And Ross is basically advising Monica not to give them any more ammunition.
Oh, I see. So he's not talking about literal ammunition. It's more like, giving someone more material or reasons to criticize you.
Yeah, exactly. Like avoid saying certain things that your parents could use against you later.
Right. Like, don't give them any more ammunition than they already have. That's the example sentence, right?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how we use these military terms to describe, family arguments and stuff.
Yeah. I guess it shows just how much those disagreements can feel like battle sometime.
Oh, totally. Okay, so then we have steer clear of.
Ah, okay.
This one comes up when Monica is getting ready for dinner with her parents. And again, Ross is giving her advice, Ross being Ross. This time, it's about what not to talk about.
So steer clear of just means avoid, basically.
Yeah. He tells her, steer clear of the word dumped because, Monica's recent breakup is a bit of a sensitive subject. And they want to keep their parents from, poking at it.
Oh, right. Don't give them any extra reasons to be annoying.
Exactly. It's all about navigating those, social sensitivities and avoiding conflict.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of dumped, that's our next word.
Ah, right. That comes up when Monica's mom, Judy, mentions that another one of her daughters is engaged. Which, ouch, right.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love those awkward family moments. So dumped in this context means, well, being broken up with.
Yeah. It's when Monica says, it's not like I was dumped or anything, trying to, downplay the situation.
It's a pretty common term, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, sadly. It's a universal experience.
Unfortunately. Okay, let's move on to something a little more lighthearted. We've got imaginary friend.
Oh, I love this one. Ross mentions having one when he and Monica are talking about their childhood.
So obviously an imaginary friend is like a made-up companion.
Right.
Like when you're a kid and you pretend to have a friend.
Right. And Ross's imaginary friend was a space cowboy, which, says a lot about his personality, even back then.
Yeah, definitely. The example sentence is, I had an imaginary friend named Maurice. Just classic Ross.
It's kind of sweet in a Ross kind of way.
Hmm.
Okay, now this next one is interesting. Twirly.
Twirly. Don't think I've heard that one before.
Yeah, it's not your everyday word. It comes up when Monica describes how she felt before her first kiss. With a guy named Jeffrey, I think.
Ah.
And the source describes it as a made-up expressive word. It's supposed to describe that giddy, emotional excitement you feel.
I see, like butterflies in your stomach, but twirlier.
Exactly. The example is, I got all twirly. Which, again, it's very Monica.
Yeah, it totally fits her personality. Very expressive, but in her own unique way.
Right. Okay, so next up, opening act. And Monica uses this in a very Monica way.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
It's when she's talking to Rachel about kissing, and she's, being Monica about it. She compares it to, like, the warm-up act before the main event.
Oh, I see. So, like, it's just the beginning, not the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Her line is, kissing is the opening act. Very practical, very Monica.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how she always has these, like, analogies for everything.
Oh, yeah. It's part of her charm, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
And this comes up when Monica is trying to, keep her cool while her parents are being their usual critical selves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the phrase roll with the punches, it basically means to adapt to tough situations, to be resilient, like a boxer rolling with a punch to lessen the impact.
Right. Like you just roll with the punches.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder to be flexible when things get difficult.
Totally. And it's very much Monica's mantra for dealing with her parents. Okay, so moving on, we've got shoot for the stars, and this is classic Joey.
Oh, Joey. I wonder what wisdom he's imparting this time.
Well, he's encouraging Ross to, be positive about becoming a father.
Oh, okay. So shoot for the stars just means to have big dreams, right?
Yeah.
Aim high.
Yeah, like, shoot for the stars, man! It's very enthusiastic, very Joey.
You can just hear him saying it.
Totally. And then we have annulment. This one brings us back to Ross's past.
Ah, okay.
He mentions that he and Carol were still married when she got pregnant, and he wanted an annulment.
So an annulment is basically like saying the marriage never happened, right?
Right.
It's different from a divorce.
Yeah, exactly. And his line is, I asked for an annulment. It shows just how complicated his relationship with Carol was, even before the baby news.
Right. Okay, let's lighten things up again. We've got Chandler coming in with his trademark sarcasm with doy.
Oh, classic Chandler. He uses this whenever someone states something incredibly obvious.
So like a sarcastic way of saying obviously or
Yeah.
duh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, doy. Of course I know that. It's like a verbal eye roll.
Totally. All right, next we've got make a move. And this one's all about romance. Or, well, the lack of it.
Yeah, the friends are teasing Ross, encouraging him to, make a move on someone he's interested in.
So make a move means to initiate something romantic, right?
Okay.
The first step.
Yeah, like, when are you going to make a move?
Yeah.
Which, again, is funny because Ross is notoriously awkward with dating.
Right, totally. All right, Joey's back with more linguistic gems. This time it's, you got me.
Yeah. He uses this when he doesn't know the answer to something. Like when someone asks him a random question and he's just like, you got me.
So like a casual way of saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very relaxed, very Joey. You can just hear his voice.
Yeah, I can definitely hear it. Okay, last one for the vocabulary section. Quack. Quack.
Yes.
Arr.
This is Ross's unique reaction to looking at the sonogram. He's not quite sure what he's seeing.
Oh, Ross. So he jokes around by making duck sounds.
Yeah, like, is that the head? Or is the duck quack, quack? It's very awkward. Very Ross.
It's funny how he always uses humor to deflect from those uncomfortable situations.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
And, even with just these individual vocabulary words, we've already got such a deeper understanding of the episode, like the dialogue, the characters, the personalities. It's amazing how much these little things tell us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really start to see the characters come alive through their language.
Exactly. All right, so now let's move on to the common phrases that our source identified in this episode.
Okay, great. What's interesting about these phrases is that they often carry a lot of implied meaning, Like, they're not just about the literal words, but also about the social context and how people use language in everyday life.
Right, yeah. Okay, so the first one on our list is steer clear of, which we already talked about with the vocabulary section.
Right, meaning to avoid something or someone. But the example sentence, steer clear of the word dumped, it shows just how fragile Monica is feeling at that moment.
Yeah, I get it. It's not just about avoiding a topic. It's about protecting her feelings. Okay, so then we have roll with the punches, meaning to adapt to tough situations.
Right. And the example, you just roll with the punches. It really captures Monica's whole approach to dealing with her, overbearing parents. In this episode, and maybe in life generally, it's like her coping mechanism.
It's a good philosophy, though. Sometimes you just got to roll with it.
Oh, totally. Okay, next up is shoot for the stars, meaning to aim high.
In the example, go ahead, shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
It shows Joey's optimistic nature, right?
Yeah. Even if he doesn't fully grasp, the complexities of Ross's situation, he's still trying to be encouraging. It's very sweet in a Joey way.
It's definitely endearing. Okay, then we have don't go there.
Ah, yes. This one means don't bring up that particular subject, like when the friends are getting into sensitive territory.
I see. Like a way to set boundaries in a conversation.
Yeah. It's a way to keep the peace and avoid conflict.
Which, with this group of friends is probably necessary a lot of the time.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of keeping the peace, Monica's concert analogy comes up again with opening act.
Right, meaning the introduction before the main event.
Yeah. And her line, kissing is the opening act, is just so funny and so Monica. It's like she's giving a lecture on relationships.
It's very matter of fact, isn't it? Okay, then we have make a move.
Right. Meaning to, show romantic interest in someone. Take the first step.
And the question, when are you going to make a move, directed at Ross, just highlights his awkwardness around dating.
Yeah. And how his friends are always trying to push him out of his comfort zone. Okay. And then we have Joey's, you got me.
Yes.
Mhm.
Meaning, I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
It's such a common phrase, but it's so effective.
Yeah. It's like the easiest way to admit you don't know something without making a big deal about it.
Absolutely. All right, now this next one is interesting. Don't be mad.
Yeah, this is one you use when you're about to deliver some bad news, right?
Exactly. Like you're trying to soften the blow.
Yeah. And Carol uses this with Ross right before she tells him that, Susan is going to be very involved in the baby's life.
Oh, right. Like she's trying to manage his reaction.
Totally. And then we have, I can't deal with this right now.
Yeah. That's a classic. It's basically saying you're overwhelmed and you need a break.
Right. And it really captures Rachel's emotional state in this episode. She's dealing with a lot of changes, and it's all very overwhelming for her.
Yeah, you can definitely relate to that feeling. Okay, and last but not least, we have I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah. The
Yeah.
classic exit line.
Like when things get too heated and you just got to leave.
Exactly. It's like a dramatic way to say, I'm done with this. Very theatrical.
It's a good way to make a statement, that's for sure.
So, all these common phrases, they really reflect the way we talk in everyday life, especially with our close friends, and they add so much depth to the dialogue, It's not just about the literal words, but also about the unspoken meanings and social cues.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a secret language we all share.
Exactly. Okay, so now for the final part of our deep dive, cultural references. This is where we start to see how Friends is really embedded in a specific time and place, like American culture in the 90s.
Right, and these references can be really insightful. They tell us a lot about the characters' backgrounds and their values.
Okay, so first up, Bloomingdale's.
Bloomingdale's, okay.
So as our source explains, Bloomingdale's is this really famous luxury department store in New York City. It's all about high-end fashion and, aspirational living.
I see, so like a symbol of wealth and status.
Yeah. And Rachel's line, do you realize this is probably the first time in my life I'm not going to be able to afford to go to Bloomingdale's? It says so much about her, previous life of privilege and her current struggles.
Right. It's not just about shopping. It's about her whole identity changing.
Exactly. Okay, next we have the big night, which, on the surface sounds pretty generic, right? Like any important event.
Yeah.
But it's actually a little more nuanced than that. Ross uses it when he's talking about the night Carol got pregnant. And the source points out that this phrase is often used in TV and movies to subtly allude to a couple's first time together.
Oh, interesting. Like a euphemism.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way to hint at something without being, too explicit, which was very common on network TV back then.
Right. It was a different time. Okay, so then we have G.I. Joe.
Right. Ross mentions this when he's trying to figure out, what to expect as a father. And he says, even if the baby's a girl, I think G.I. Joe's still okay.
G.I. Joe. That takes me back.
Yeah.
So what's the cultural significance there?
Well, G.I. Joe was this super popular action figure marketed mostly towards boys. It was all about toughness and masculinity and all that.
Oh, I see. So Ross's comment is kind of reflecting, traditional gender roles.
Yeah. It shows how, even though he's trying to be open-minded, he still has some pretty stereotypical views.
It's interesting how these little things can reveal so much about a character.
Totally. Okay, next up is the Dear Diary voice. Monica uses this when she's teasing Rachel. It's when she says, Dear Diary, today I met the cutest guy.
Dear Diary. Okay, so she's imitating Rachel.
Yeah. And the Dear Diary voice is like a way to poke fun at someone who's being, overly romantic or dramatic. Like, it's that stereotypical image of a teenage girl writing in her diary.
Oh, right. Like a way to gently tease someone.
Exactly. And it's funny because Monica's totally teasing Rachel about still being hung up on Barry, even though she left him at the altar.
Yeah, classic Monica. Okay, next we have the Ice Age line.
Ah, yes. This is when Ross is trying to establish a timeline with Susan. And he says, I don't think it was during the Ice Age.
The Ice Age. Okay, I'm guessing he's not being literal here.
Right. It's pure sarcasm. He's basically saying that Susan's involvement in the baby's conception was, well, non-existent. It's a very dismissive remark.
Oh, I see. Like a humorous way to shut down the conversation.
Yeah. And it's a good example of, American sarcastic humor. Okay, and finally we have sonogram. The title of the episode.
Ah,
And
okay.
Carol's line is just, it's a sonogram picture, but, it carries a lot of cultural weight.
Yeah, I can see that. So how do sonograms fit into the cultural context?
Well, in the U.S., sonograms are a really big deal during pregnancy. Like, they're often shared with a lot of excitement, and they're seen as a major milestone.
Oh, right. Like the first real glimpse of the baby.
Yeah. And the fact that Carol and Susan are showing Ross the sonogram, it shows that they're trying to include him, even though their family dynamic is pretty unconventional.
Yeah, it's a gesture of goodwill.
Totally. So, all these cultural references, they really ground the show in a specific time and place. And they add layers of meaning that you might miss if you're not familiar with American culture.
It's like a cultural puzzle that we're piecing together.
Exactly. And, when you combine all these elements, the vocabulary, the phrases, the cultural references, it's amazing how much richer our understanding of the episode becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they use it to sort of unlock some
Right.
advanced English grammar secrets.
I like that. Unlock some secrets.
Yeah, so it's not about, those dusty old textbooks.
Mhm.
It's more about how native speakers really talk and how they
In the wild.
Yeah, in the wild, how they use grammar.
Yeah, exactly. We want to move beyond just
Yeah.
kind of knowing the rules
Right.
and get into how these grammatical choices actually have power in the way we communicate.
Yeah, and affect meaning and stuff.
Totally.
So let's jump right into it with the past perfect tense.
All right.
Pasted text points to Rachel's line.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I had to give up my Visa card.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What do you think?
Well, what's interesting there is
Yeah.
that had to give up isn't just saying she gave it up.
Right.
It's like that action happened before
Right.
her feeling of disbelief.
Right.
So, it creates this kind of like prior condition
Oh,
that makes the emotion make sense.
nice.
It's like layering time and consequence
Right.
in a very concise way.
Yeah. It's not just like a simple past tense.
Exactly.
There's like more to it.
There's more going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on then to reported speech.
Okay.
So the example is Rachel says, he said he was
Yes.
really excited about the wedding.
Oh, right.
And she's not directly quoting Barry
Exactly.
like his original thought might have been.
Right, like, I am excited.
Yeah, I am really excited.
Yeah, exactly.
But when she reports it later,
Yeah.
that am becomes was.
Right.
And that's not just like a grammar rule. It's
No,
like,
keeping the timeline straight.
yeah. It's so we understand.
Well-
We're hearing the second hand.
Yeah, it's like a signal that it's
Totally.
filtered through someone else.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so up next then are modal verbs in the past.
All right.
And the example is Rachel thinks to herself,
Mm-hmm.
I should have known he was seeing someone else.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I know. And that
Yeah.
should have known. It's not just about the past.
Right.
It's like this regret.
Totally like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like have known something earlier.
Exactly. And these past modal verbs are so good
Yeah.
for expressing those kind of feelings.
Like the feeling about the past action.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah.
inaction, I guess.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's talk about
Thanks.
how sometimes we don't use all the words.
Oh, yeah, ellipsis.
Yes, ellipsis in dialogue.
Love it.
So Chandler asks, you gave her your number
Right.
instead of
Instead of the full, did you give her your number? Right. And this is where
yeah.
spoken English gets so efficient.
It does. It's like we just drop words
Yeah.
when the meaning's obvious.
Right. And in Chandler's question,
Right.
that did is implied.
Exactly.
And like recognizing these omissions is so key
It is.
to understanding that rhythm and flow.
The flow, yeah. It's
So
like
conversation.
yeah, it's like we have this shared understanding
Right.
that lets us be more concise.
Yeah, it's like we're filling in the blanks
Oh, wow.
automatically. Okay. Pasted text also points out conditional sentences.
Oh, yeah.
And it gives this underlying example from Rachel's situation.
Okay.
If I hadn't left Barry, I'd be miserable right now.
Right, right.
That's like a whole other reality.
It is, yeah. It's like this conditional
Yeah.
that lets us explore
Yeah.
these alternative pasts
Yeah.
and their outcomes.
And she's not just saying a fact.
No,
Right.
she's implying, like,
Right.
comparing her current happiness
Right.
with this hypothetical misery.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah. It really like highlights the choice she made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lastly, we have emphatic do or did.
All right.
So imagine Ross maybe saying, I did go to the appointment.
Oh, yeah, with that emphasis.
Yeah. And that did, that
Yeah.
it's not just for grammar.
No, it's adding that emphasis.
Right. It's
Like he's being defensive,
yeah.
or he wants to stress
Yeah.
that he did it.
That he really did it. And
Yeah.
recognizing this helps us understand, like,
Yeah, the speaker's emotion.
right.
Your intention.
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
So,
right.
so you see, even in a sitcom,
Oh, right.
these more advanced grammar concepts,
Yeah.
they're just there
They're always there.
all the time.
Yeah.
And they add all these layers of meaning
Layers.
to
Yeah.
these conversations.
Yeah, and it's not just about following the rules.
Right.
It's about understanding
Yeah.
how we naturally express ourselves.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating to me is
Yeah.
these aren't like conscious choices most of the time.
No, they're like patterns
Right.
that we've learned
Yeah.
that help us connect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here's a synopsis of Friends, Season 1, Episode 2, the one with the sonogram at the end. In this episode, the characters continue adjusting to major life changes. Ross learns that his ex-wife, Carol, is pregnant with his child and plans to raise the baby with her lesbian partner, Susan. Although stunned, Ross tries to be supportive, navigating the complex dynamics of co-parenting with his ex and her new partner. Meanwhile, Rachel struggles with her new independence after leaving her fiancé Barry at the altar. She returns her engagement ring to Barry, only to discover he's already involved with her maid of honor, Mindy. Her journey of becoming financially and emotionally independent begins, as she tries, and fails, to cut up her father's credit cards. Monica stresses about her parents coming over for dinner, especially since they constantly criticize her and favor Ross. Chandler and Joey try to help by being their usual goofy selves, but it only adds to Monica's anxiety. The episode ends on an emotional note with the group gathered to look at Ross's unborn baby's sonogram, a moment that brings everyone together despite their individual struggles.
Thanks for watching. I hope this lesson helped you learn something new and made your friends experience even more fun. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your fellow English learners. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new episode breakdown. See you in the next one.